Hi everybody, my name is Sam and this is by hook or by needles. And today you can see I have my needles, and this might look like just a normal ribbing, but it's actually not. This is a really squishy, soft, reversible, as most ribbings are, stitch. But it is not your normal ribbing stitch. It is called your fisherman's rib. And fisherman's rib also looks rather like the brioche stitch. It's just a lot easier to do than the brioche stitch, uses less yarn than the brioche stitch, but you still get a fairly stretchy, flexible, lovely stitch. Brioche is one of my favorite knit stitches to do. I only learnt it a couple of years ago, but I really enjoy doing it an awful lot. So now you start off with, I gotta hang on, I'll be right back. Sorry about that, I just had to check the multiples. I thought I was right, but I thought I better check. It is a multiple of 2 plus 1. Now you slip the with your first row, so you cast on your even number stitches plus 1, and then you just knit 1 row, and that's because this stitch is worked into the stitch below. Each knit stitch is worked into the stitch below, and I will show you what we mean. If you can see this knit stitch here, okay, oh dear, hard to try and get it. You can see that little bar here lets me know that I have to go into that stitch. Normally if I was knitting, I'd go between that strand and the wood or the needle if I was knitting normally. But because I'm doing fisherman's rib, you actually do what they call 1 KB, which is knit or 1 knit below, or K1B, I'm sorry, knit 1 below, and that means you come into the stitch, the knit stitch below. So you're not going into the knit stitch like you normally would, you're going into the knit stitch below. Purl stitches are worked exactly the same, there's no going below or anything like that, but the knit stitches all worked in 1 stitch below. So I'll show you. We start off always by slipping a stitch. So we slip the first one, and then we go straight into the second one, which is a knit stitch. Now I'm going to knit below. Okay, I'm not knitting in here where you normally would go. I'm going into here, and I'm just going to knit that one. And that's what gives this, you know, the knit stitch that sort of really big gappy, breathable, squidgy feel to it. So we bring our yarn forward and we just purl the next stitch just as normal. Put our yarn to the back, and once again we're going to knit 1 below. So we're going to go in to there. Can you see what I mean? Normally you would go into there for a normal knit stitch, but we're going to go 1 below. And we're just going to knit that stitch and pull it off. And then we're going to purl 1 stitch as though you would normally purl. Knit 1 below. It can be a little bit, if you've just come from knitting normally to this, you might find that you forget to go below, but just sort of try and be aware of it. And you can actually see on the purl stitches, you know if you've done it right, because normally a pearl stitch would just have one little bump, one strand as a bump. These pearl stitches all have 2 bumps, and that lets me know that I've done that correctly on the other side. But we're just purling the pearl stitches as normal, and it's only the knit stitches where we go into that stitch below. And we pull it off, and see, when you pull it off, that's where you get the second bump on the back. Bring our yarn forward to do our pearl stitch, to the back to do our knit stitch below. Bring our yarn forward, purl, yarn back, knit 1 below. Now, see, normally, if you were just to knit 1, you would have 1 bump. See, you'd have 1 strand as a bump at the back. That's if you're doing it normally. But because we're knitting below, and then we're pulling off both those loops at once when we've knitted, and that's where we get the 2. So when you come back in the other direction and you're purling, you will notice 2 sort of bumps instead of the 1 normal bump. If you only see 1, then you know that you made an error in the previous row, and that you've only gone through, you've knitted it like normal. This grows quicker as well than the normal. I've got 2 bumps there. Yep. Than brioche would, because brioche is basically you having to knit every row twice normally. That's just the nature of the stitch. So that's how it can become a bit, slows it down, uses a lot more yarn, and grows a lot slower. But I do love the brioche stitch. But if you're in a hurry, you want a little look of brioche without the hassle of brioche, this is an ideal stitch. Knit 1 below, and the pearls are all normal. This is especially lovely, I think, for baby stuff. I mean, if you made a baby blanket in this would just be so soft. And because it's so sort of thick, and it traps all the air in there, which warms up with the body heat, and then, really helps keep the baby warm. Okay, and then we knit. Now, we've just knit that stitch. We've come to the end. And we always knit that last stitch as normal. Okay, so we knit that stitch as normal. And we turn. You can see that this is quite pretty and uniform. And I've been having a bit of issue with my tension on this side, because that's a bit sort of gappy, but you know what? It won't notice once it's been blocked. So let's do a second row. Now, once again, we're going to slip this knitwise, but the next stitch is a purl. So we're going to slip knitwise, bring our yarn to the front so that we can then purl that first stitch. Okay, so we're slipping knitwise, bring the yarn to the front and purl as normal. And here we are again. knit one below, yarn to the front, purl one, knit one below. I hope you can all see where I'm inserting the needle. It's really quite sort of easy once you sort of get into the habit of doing it. I always find it's like when I do brioche knitting for a while. If I've been brioche knitting for a whole garment or something, and then I come back to just normal knitting, I keep wanting to, you've got the muscle memory of trying to do brioche all the time. And this is the same sort of thing. You've just really got to get into that habit of going into the stitch below rather than into the stitch normally. And then we purl the next stitch. And you can just take it nice and easy. There's no rush. There's no race. Now what I would do when I'm about to do a cast off is I'll just finish this row and I'll explain. So the second last stitch is a purl, and then we knit the last stitch as per a normal knit. Okay, now because when we start off we do one row of normal knit stitch. That's so that the top and the bottom look the same. For like if you were doing a scarf or a blanket, I'm inclined to do knit one, purl one, knit all the way across, because that's what we've done on the first row. We've knit all the way across. So if I was to cast off now, first thing I would do would be to knit all the way across like I started, including the first stitch, just so that there's some symmetry to it. And so I'm not knitting one below now, I'm just knitting as normal, and I'm just knitting all the way across. So that when I cast off, the top and the bottom will be more symmetrical than if I try to cast off without doing that. And I would cast off with knit stitches, all knit stitches, not knit. I wouldn't cast off by knit one, purl one, because I've just done all knit stitches now. So I just cast off as though I was casting off a knit stitch. So I'd cast off knit stitches all the way across. Okay. So you can see a bit of a, you can see the bumps. Whoops, you can see the bump down the bottom of my first knit row. And now you can see the bumps at the top with my second. And then I just cast off as per usual. I'll do that in a minute. So that is Fisherman's rib. As I say, it is really soft, and you can sort of see, how flexible it sort of is, and how thick it is. It is a really nice sort of thick stitch. You can sort of see it there, and warm. It is very, very warm. And I like it, like I say, because it looks like brioche, but it's not brioche. So yeah, this is Fisherman's Rib. Please give me a thumbie if you like the stitch, enjoyed the video. I've got one more video I think I need to do for the month of September. I think I'm in September now. And then I can get on with a few more exciting things. Okay, so please take care, give me a thumbie, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now.